Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with an NXT review for May 9th, 2018. We start the show with Ricochet, who comes out in a suit, and he's not wearing any socks. He's got his one and only song. He talks about being the one and only for a while. He says that there's only one thing on his mind right now, and then he sneaks in it, no, it's not my it's not socks, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Perfect. He says it's the NXT Championship. Then the Velveteen Dreams music hits and interrupts. He asks who gave Ricochet the authority to even say these kinds of things or even to go into the ring and do this stuff. Dream says that he's the one and only man and experience in NXT. Says that that Ricochet can flip or flop wherever he wants, but he better land behind the Velveteen Dream. Ricochet laughs at him, essentially, tells him that he knows him pretty well, and he reminds him of his feud with Aleister Black, where Black did finally say his name after kicking him in the head. Ricochet says that he's there to steal the Velveteen Dream's spotlight. Dream says that he can do anything Ricochet can do better, and then Ricochet says, okay, prove it. And Dream kind of teases that he's going to fight him, but then he just kind of slides out of the ring. It was cool. Ricochet on the mic, not the strongest, but that little no, it's not socks was pretty clever. Velveteen Dream on the mic, getting better and better. And I want to see this match. I saw that ladder match. I want to see this match too, so that was cool. The next match is Raul Mendoza versus EC3. I love that EC3 loves his theme. When he was first introduced and did an interview with Regal in the ring, or not an interview, but spoke with Regal in the ring, he said, like, man, thank you for this banger of a theme. And now he comes out to his theme and he's singing along to his theme, and I just like that he's so into his theme. It goes into the whole vein thing. I dig it. Mendoza starts the match with a little bit of offense, hits a Hurricane Rana and a missile dropkick. Eventually EC3 gains control. He tosses Mendoza high into the turnbuckle. He hits a high knee, and then he does his finisher. I think it's called the 1%, but it's basically puts a guy in a fireman's carry, kind of swings him out, and does a cutter on him. It does a really nonchalant cover, just a little bit more to adds a little spice to the mix. I actually like Mendoza. I think Mendoza belongs on 205 Live. I hope he does end up there, because I like the guy. Kathy Kelly interviews EC3 right after the match. He says that he'll keep winning until NXT is rebranded NX3. He actually did really well. Usually you do a promo after a match, and the person is so out of breath that they kind of lose track of what they're trying to say and things like that, but he stayed on point. He did what he was supposed to do. Good promo. I liked it. EC3 is good on the mic. It's just the way it is. So then we have a cut to a video from last week of Lorcan and Birch, who are seeking out Dunn backstage. They tell him that they don't like him. They call him a piece of garbage, but they all agree to team up against Undisputed Era. Then we have a match between Dakota Kai and Vanessa Bourne. These are two wrestlers that you don't get to see a ton of. You've been seeing them a little bit more, but I wrote that I really like the theme songs. Bourne has a theme song that doesn't really fit her, but it works anyway. You wouldn't expect that theme song to fit with her. And Kai has basically just an electronica type of theme song, and usually they suck, but this one sounds very current. It sounds like it would play on BPM if you were listening to it, and it would not feel out of place. So I actually like both of them. Kai with a really, really nice drop kick. She misses the big boot in the corner, though, which gives Bourne the advantage. Bourne hits a swinging neck breaker, which looked really good. Gets a near fall out of it. The crowd's very quiet, and at one point Bourne does a really good move where she just says, "Cheer for me," as loud as she can to the crowd, and the crowd actually kind of starts booing, doing stuff. So they reacted. It was kind of a pro move by someone who's not been in the business that long, from my understanding. There's a running big boot by Kai eventually. She also hits her running knee in the corner. Excuse me. And then she hits basically a sunset flip lumbar check, which I believe is going to be her finisher. It's fine, except it requires that the opponent hunch themselves over. So Bourne just basically kind of put herself in the perfect position so Kai can do the move. You can't set it up that way. I think you need to set it up with a boot to the stomach, and then you bounce off the ropes and do that move. It's a cool looking move, but there needs to be a setup that makes sense. Just kick her in the stomach, it makes her bend over, bounce into the ropes, jump over her, do your move. It would have been a lot... It would just make a little bit more sense, but it is a cool looking move. After the match, Kai's happy she won, but Shayna Baszler's music hits, and Kai basically is visibly shaking. Baszler kind of confronts her, goes right into her face, and Kai does nothing. And then Baszler goes to Bourne, and she starts choking out Bourne, and just stares at Kai while she does it, and Kai just slowly walks away. After the match, Kathy Kelly is interviewing Kai, and Kai's just saying, I don't know why, I just freeze when she's around or whatnot when Baszler's around. And then, sure enough, Baszler shows up, comes right up to Kai, says, you're the leader of the kick team, kick me in the face, kick me right now. And Kai does nothing, she just shakes and stays there, and she says, yeah, that's what I thought so. But that's what I thought would happen, and Baszler just kind of walks away. And then you hear some giggling, and they pan over, and it's Nikki Cross just behind a beam, giggling. Then we have the match between Heavy Machinery and War Machine. I wrote that it's a lot of fun to just see big guys hitting big guys for a little while. The opening 2 minutes of this match is just that. At one point, Rowe picks up Hansen and just on his shoulder and essentially runs into the corner and drops Hansen down so that Hansen's back squishes, I think it's Dozovic in the corner. There's a really nice throw by Dozovic onto Hansen. So he basically throws Hansen, who's a pretty heavy guy, like it's nothing. It looked really cool. Hansen does a dive to the outside, which is impressive for a man his size. Rowe does his kind of a judo throw into a knee, which looked really good on Tucker Knight. Then he picks up Knight, and Hansen does the leg drop on him in the corner, and that's their finisher. They get the win. That's their second win against Heavy Machinery, so, we're establishing that War Raiders. I said War Machine like 5 times. War Raiders are a team to reckon with, I guess. There's a training promo by the Street Profits where they just kind of yell stuff and motivate each other. It's fine. And then the final match of the night is Tommaso Ciampa and Cassius Ohno. There's no music for Ciampa, which really emphasizes the boos and the chants. It's cool. Ohno is showing really good fire early on, saying, was it worth it? Things like that. It was good. Ciampa lands a big knee on the outside to gain an advantage, so for the most part it was Ohno at the start, but then Ciampa takes over. I wrote that I love Ohno's bicycle kick. I don't know why it's not his finisher. It just looks cool, especially when he does it with a tornado, but discus or twisting. I don't know what you would call that. Ohno is attacking Ciampa's injured eye, which I like. He removes his knee pad at one point and does a knee drop. So Ohno is always like the smiling nice guy, but I like seeing kind of the bad guy come out of it when you mess with his friends. Excuse me. Ciampa intentionally kind of does a bad job of cheating by taking off his wrist tape and pretending that he's going to use it on Ohno. Ref takes it and kind of goes out to the side of the ring to throw it away, and that's when Ciampa takes the opportunity to dig at Ohno's eyes with his fingers. So it was kind of a clever bad guy move. Ciampa ends up landing a big knee to the back of Ohno's head, gets a near fall for it. And then a few minutes later, or a few seconds later, Ciampa lands I guess this is his new finisher. It's like a neck breaker, but he essentially spins Ohno's head around so that it lands face first at the end of it. And he gets the pin off that move. It's an okay looking finisher. You have to look at it a couple times to know exactly what happened, but I like that. And then after the match, Ciampa takes off his knee brace, and he attacks Ohno with it. So he hits him with it, and then he also puts it against his face, similar to what Gargano did to him. Overall, this episode I'm going to say the wrestling was okay. I thought it could have been a little bit better, but the wrestling was okay. I thought a lot of storylines got progressed. Nothing wrong with this episode. Nothing outstanding. I'm going to go and say this was a 7.5 out of 10. And that's, I have high expectations for NXT every week, and this was not in any way outstanding, but it was good. It was good. So 7.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. I'll have an Impact review tomorrow, and then we'll go back to some WWE stuff next week. Thanks.